Shalom and welcome to Faith Journeys with God in the Land. Today we use archaeology as a way to learn how to walk with God by faith. Shalom and welcome back to this series called Faith Journeys with God in the Land. I'm John DeLancey. I serve as the director for our ministry called Biblical Israel Ministries and Tours. You can find us at biblicalisraeltours.com if you're interested in a trip with us in the future or simply looking for resources that will help you understand and read the Bible in the context of the land. So this is a new series through 2023, and already I've shared 2 episodes with you. I hope that you've caught up with these if you've not read them or viewed them before. And by the way, this is only take 1. There is no take 2, because I'm a firm believer that even when we mess up, whether I'm speaking and messing up with my words, or more importantly, if we sort of mess up in our faith journey, we're able to get back on the right path, and God helps us to do that. So that's my approach in this series, and I hope it'll be your approach in your walk of faith as well, along with me, as we all mess up in our faith journey, and yet we're invited to turn back to God for His direction and encouragement. So in the last episode, we talked about the geography of the land. We're already talking about this land of Israel, the land of the Bible. It's 300 miles from the southern point all the way to the northern edge of Israel, with the border with Lebanon, 300 miles long and about 75 miles or 80 miles wide here at the widest point, depending on how you calculate that. But within this land of Israel, there are many, many archaeological sites. So in this episode, I simply want to talk about how we can use archaeology to encourage our faith walk with God. Now, on every trip that we lead to Israel, we're visiting between 45 and 60 archaeological sites somewhere in the land, whether it be in the south, in the north, in Jerusalem, and of course in between somewhere. There is archaeology everywhere you look, literally, especially in Jerusalem. You can't even walk 50 yards without looking right or left and saying, oh, there's a Roman wall, or here's a wall that dates to the time of Solomon, or even from the time of the Jebusites if we're visiting the city of David. You can't get away from the role of archaeology. In fact, I want to read one verse. Now, various translations may not translate what I'm going to read with you exactly and precisely like the wording here, but I love what Psalm 102 says. Blessed are those who love your dust and cherish your stones. Blessed are those who love your dust and cherish your stones. There's stones everywhere, and I'm not talking about just in the hill country of Judah or the Judean desert, but when we go to archaeological sites, there are stone walls. Sometimes there's stone pavements. There's always stone as a part of a house structure of some kind. In fact, when I've excavated at numerous times in the land, we're always digging down through stone levels. Sometimes it's a wall of a house. Sometimes it's a wall of a fortified city. But stones, they're everywhere. So I actually cherish stones. I love stones. except those little stone pebbles that get into your shoes, of course. They sort of hurt once in a while, and we sort of have to empty our shoes out once in a while to walk comfortably. But I'm not talking about those little small stones. I'm talking about those, sometimes they're massive stones that are put one upon another, and there you are. You're standing in front of a wall, whether it be like I said, a Jebusite wall in the city of David, or a Canaanite wall at Hatzor, or a Judean wall at Lachish, a double wall that actually was there from the 10th century on. Of course, the walls of Jericho. There's a double wall at the very southern end of the city there of the archaeological site. Some date that to the Middle Bronze period, others to the Late Bronze period. Really, we're not getting into dates here, but there are walls, stone walls everywhere. So maybe a life lesson that will help our journey of faith with God as we look at walls. In fact, all the pictures behind me that you see are examples of these fortification walls or house structures. But let me just say that God delights when we make Him our fortress. Psalm 18 says this, Psalm 22, and many other places. We are to make God our fortress. He's our strong tower. He's someone who dwells within us, within our house. Remember, as Paul would even eventually say in the New Testament in 2 Corinthians, I believe, we are the temple of God. And of course, we're not made with stone and mortar, but we are to live out the Spirit of God living in our lives. We are the temple of God, and we are people who are invited to place our faith in Him. So stones and walls are all over the place, and yet I look at these stones and walls as a good opportunity to learn how important it is to place our faith, my faith, in Him. One stone upon another. That's how God wants us to approach our faith journey. One step upon another, until we actually are consistently walking on that right path, as Jeremiah chapter 6 says. Incidentally, Jesus quotes from that passage in a passage that's recorded in Matthew chapter 11. We are to walk in the right way, and when we do that, we are people who find rest for our souls. So walking in the right pathway means to be like a stone wall, finding God and placing Him as our fortress, walking on a stone pavement and knowing that He invites us to walk on the right pathway that will lead to not only a life of honoring Him, but also a life of peace and rest. So archaeology, once we get into the field and teach these videos and share these videos from various different sites, you're going to see a lot of archaeology, by the way, and we'll use that as a way to help us in our faith journey with God in the land. So, thanks again for tuning in. Visit our website, biblicalisraeltours.com, if you're interested in a trip in the near future, if God should lead and provide for you. But in the meantime, be blessed, and until next time, shalom.